What's going on, everybody? It's Sean from the fightforfreedom.info. I'm your host as usual. I'm here tonight with my buddy Ed. Ed, what's going on, man?
What's going on, buddy?
Hey, dude, where's Brian? Where's Brian?
He bailed on us.
That punk. He decided to go hang out at a nice little campfire. Topics we're going to be talking today. Cecil. Cecil the Lion. I almost said Cecile.
Cecil?
Cecil.
Cecil the Lion. The outrage.
Yeah, what's going on with this, man?
It's crazy how many people are upset. But let's give the story real quick. There's a guy from Minnesota, a dentist named Walter James Palmer, who paid $50,000 to go to Zimbabwe to go hunting, trophy hunting for lions. He thought he paid for the proper permits and went out and shot a protected lion.
So, are we sure that he knew that he was thinking that he was doing the right thing, like as far as like permits and everything goes?
According to him, yes.
Well,
Yeah. So far, Zimbabwe, there's no charges on him. As far as any news has reported, 0 charges
so far.
so far.
And is it Zimbabwe that wants to extradite him, or is it like people here saying that we need to extradite him back to Zimbabwe?
Well, both, but they don't have charges, so they haven't formally filed for the papers to have him extradited.
Okay.
So there's no official paperwork, but you still have outrage. He was a famous lion, so.
For what? What made him famous? I know he was tagged. Who tagged him and who was working on it?
Well, Oxford University in the UK had him tagged, as well as his brother. His brother is tagged, and there's reports today saying that he was shot and killed, but that's not true. Oxford came out and said that the tags on his brother is Jericho,
And they're
they're still fine. So
now, did people
that's
think
not
that the dentist also killed the brother Jericho?
no, not at all.
No, they just thought
that was just rumors.
Gotcha.
But as far as this guy, so far, listen, we talked about our feelings on trophy hunting, but
I don't
either
like it.
way, if he did pay for it and thinks, he went.
Yeah, and he's literally thinking it's legit.
Yeah, it was legit. Right now, he had to close up his business temporarily. You have over 200,000 people who have a signed petition that was handed over to Washington that wants to have him extradited. So the outrage is pretty insane.
Right, and a little bit, to me, it's outrageous considering you don't find 200,000 people signing petitions for like an outrage over these drone strikes that are happening, or Fukushima when that happened. And
Exactly. I mean, that's why we're bringing this up.
Right.
I mean, we're only bringing. We could share our opinions on it, but I mean, if he went through the proper or thought he went through the proper channels, and we're just making a big deal out of the outrage.
Right.
Is pretty much it.
When the
But because there's a lot of issues out there that people should be outraged about.
yeah, a lot more so than
Like I know you were going through some.
Right. So I want to know, where's the outrage over Fukushima? To today, we're still spilling 300 tons of radioactive water into the Pacific Ocean.
I know that's
even
ridiculous.
today, So, and I don't see these petitions going on. I kind of need this, and also the drone strikes. People are like, I mean, there's children being killed overseas. There's innocent people being slaughtered, and I don't see 200,000 people signing petitions to stop anybody, whether it's Obama or before him we had George Bush doing the exact same thing. We can look at Pakistan between 2004 and 2015. You got between 420 to up to 950 civilians killed. That's not including up to almost 207 children just in Pakistan. On top of that, an additional 1,100 people that were injured. You got Yemen as well. 2002 2015, 100 civilians were killed. And then also Somalia, the great anarchy. Move to Somalia if you're an anarchist. I'm sure you've heard that. Between 2007 and 2015, covert operations have killed between 30 to 50 civilians. The most recent covert operation, including drone strikes, happened July 15th, which is,
I know. Imagine having 200,000 people sign a petition for any one of these issues.
But we're going to freak out over a line. Wasn't Jimmy Fallon crying over this thing?
Oh, was he?
Yeah. He's like choking up. And I'm like, I get it, man, but we got people being slaughtered. And I'm not, like you said, we're not really fans of these trophy hunts.
No, I personally would not go on a trophy hunt.
You're going to harvest, you harvest for food.
Yeah,
you know
exactly. I mean? But I know. I just imagine how many animals are being harmed or killed right now in the ocean from the radiation leak.
Right.
And you're and you're upset over one animal.
Simply because it's famous.
Yeah.
So you're saying pretty much that animal's life is worth more than any other animal's life right off the bat. When you look at how many they had, this type of crab was washing up on the shore. People were swimming in this ocean, and thousands of crabs were coming up dead. Millions of fish. Thousands of crabs. Dolphins are being, messed up by this stuff. This isn't a joke. It's still going on today.
I know, and then. Not only they decide to get upset over one lion, but if this guy named Walter James Palmer, if he really did try to go through the proper channels and get a permit and go through this, and this accident happened, right now his business is out.
Right.
He's having a hard time with income. You just made him. Infamous, the infamous lion killer.
I don't think he can ever get this business going again. I don't think he'll ever be able to get his business going again.
I know. He's probably going to be some sort of reality star at this point.
Maybe.
But,
and he's in hiding right now, right?
I'm not sure. Well, kind of. So, there's reports supposedly from what I was reading that he has tried to contact the United States and environmental services, and then the environmental services are saying that they've tried to get in contact with him and they haven't gotten back. So I don't know if he's in hiding. I haven't read anything if he was in hiding at all. But I mean, regardless, his life is pretty much upside down now. Yeah, even if people feel like it should be because he shot a lion, and if you don't believe in trophy killing, then I don't know.
Yeah, but then you take it up.
I don't believe I don't believe in trophy killing either, but I wouldn't want to see somebody's, life turned upside down because of an accident when they thought they were going through the proper channels. I mean, Zimbabwe allows them to.
Right, they should
to hunt.
If you got a problem, you should be taking it up with the people in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, exactly.
Just I don't know. So he ended up killing with a bow and arrow, right? Or bow.
Yeah.
And what do you have an opinion on what his? If you think he's legitimately thinking, I thought everything was kosher.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an opinion on it because I'm, a lot of things could be rumors or,
right.
So I don't like running off of it. I mean, again, my opinion on trophy hunting is stinks. So
stupid.
But there's bigger things out there, so I don't, have a particular opinion on what happened because from what I read. Also, supposedly, he paid them the tour guides, put
$50,000.
a dead animal on the Jeep to lure out the lion, and then he killed it he shot it with the bow and arrow. The lion ran. They tracked it for something like 40 miles, beheaded it, skinned it, and killed it then.
Sounds pretty grotesque.
But which sounds. Pretty ruthless, which I wouldn't agree with. I think it's
unless he's dead, because
crazy too. But
not for nothing. I mean,
how do you know he did this at the same time?
Your average hunter will skin. If you're going deer hunting, they skin the deer. Plenty of hunters will behead the deer afterwards so that they can clean up the skull and keep the skull and the antlers intact. So I mean, I don't know if maybe the media's trying to paint him like, oh look, he beheaded this lion and he did this. Well, if he's thinking everything's cool, he might want to have this thing, go to like a taxidermist and have this thing stuffed and whatnot. So I mean, beheading it might not. If he just wants the head, I'm sure people they've always seen heads on walls like of animals, of their trophies and whatnot.
Oh, absolutely.
So I don't think that like the whole beheading and the skinning thing should be this giant shock to people. Because this is what they do.
But again, like I can't believe how many people are up.
Right.
Like
Over
they'll
this,
decide to make a stand on this.
right?
Like you said, I don't know, I haven't seen it, but if Jimmy Fallon is crying over this,
Well, he didn't cry, but he teared up.
There's a lot of other things. If you're gonna cry over this, like just reading, then you must cry every day reading the newspaper.
Yeah. I feel like if he's the one crying over this line, how come he's not crying over all the animals that are dying at sea, all the children that are dying overseas, people that are dying here?
And look how many people are followers. Like, you're telling me out of this 200,000 people that signed a petition, they all read the facts of the story, and
No.
Again, there's no charges on him.
Right. It's
There's
an emotional outcry.
Yeah, there's no legal paperwork that's been filled out for him to have him extradited, but 200,000 people want him extradited. I mean,
you're emotionally
crazy.
You're emotionally
people
attached to
follow?
this. Yeah, I don't know, man.
But again, the drone attacks.
I mean, thousands. We have literally killed more civilians than the civilians that were killed in the Twin Towers. But because these people are overseas, what do we care, right? What do we care? A human life, what does it matter? They're not us. Americans are somehow this better human being than somebody else overseas.
And how does that not perpetuate hate?
Right. It does.
How's that
It does.
How do people think that's a solution?
But then it's all emotional, man. Oh, this poor lion gets killed. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it when I see an elephant get killed just for its, ivory tusks or a rhino getting killed. I don't like to see that shit. But this is the outcry that we have over all these atrocities that are happening worldwide. It's like these ISIS beheadings. Nobody's freaking out about that. Jimmy Fallon's not crying about that. Isn't that a joke?
It's ridiculous.
Isn't that a fucking joke?
But that's pretty much why it was brought up. I mean, that seems to be the talking point for this week.
Yeah. I wish we had more topics, but we are going to be talking about the difference between Republicans and Democrats, Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump. I think we're pretty much done with Cecil.
That's stupid.
If that's what you're going to be crying over, I mean, I don't know. You're going to be crying a lot for the rest of your life. There's no doubt about that.
Well, now we're getting into the belief of
Two-party
election
system?
years.
The belief
People
of,
think that they're going to vote and make change.
All right, so I got to bring this up. So I have some family members. They're in their late 60s. One takes Donald Trump's position. The other one takes Bernie Sanders' position. Being in your late 60s, by now, if you don't see that the debt continues to rise, we continue to push the debt ceiling, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. We continue to go into these wars. There's always some issue going on worldwide. If you don't see this by now, that the whole two-party system doesn't work, how did you make it through high school? Like, how did you get through school? Because it's pretty stupid to be that blind at 60, 70 years old. You've been through multiple presidents. You continue to see all these bad things happening, and not just by the United States government, by worldwide governments. You don't realize by now that this two-party system doesn't work?
I know now that it's election year, you see all the hype with Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, and then all the the hate with Hillary Clinton. So you have a lot of people thinking like, if Hillary wins, the world, government, the world, America's going to come to an end. And then you got people thinking Bernie Sanders is going to save the people and the country on the democratic liberal way. And then you got Donald Trump, where your conservative Republicans think that, well, he's not going to really bullshit about the borders and all this, and he's not your typical Republican, and he's going to save the way. And it's like, haven't you figured it out? It's all bullshit.
And you and I spoke about this the last time you were on, and we were like, we have some celebritarians that are saying, well, if this person gets into office, I'm out of America. Well, you're perpetuating this problem that we have here, because you're basically saying that if somebody else comes into office, America might not go into, a shitstorm. Well, we're already in a shitstorm, number one. And number two, doesn't matter who you're going to vote for, the same thing's going to be perpetuated because we have giant special interest groups funding both sides.
It's funny because, right, anybody who you talk to, your average person, when you're like, yeah, government works for special interests, it's a corporatocracy, and they're like, almost everybody agrees to that. So then what makes you think any of these candidates are going to change that?
Right, and people realize this.
In a two-party system.
And people realize this. They're like, oh, we definitely... I've spoken to people who, I wouldn't consider politically... I don't know what the right word is. They're not involved in politics much, right? But they can see that big corporations get... they work alongside the government, or they're the boss of the government, pretty much. But they're still going to go vote and thinking that there's really going to be something that changes. And I'm like, well, you see the problem, but you're going to continue, this symptom of, well, this guy says he'll bring change. So therefore, I'm going to vote for him. This guy's for the borders. This guy's for the veterans. This guy's for making sure everyone has health care. This guy's for making sure we all can pay for our school tuitions. It doesn't matter what they say. These talking points don't matter because as soon as they come into office, they're out the window.
Most of them, except for Donald Trump, they already have a political position. How come they're not writing bills or doing this stuff now in the position they're at now? They're in Congress.
Mitch
Rand
McConnell
Paul's in Congress.
Mitch McConnell is working pretty much hand in hand with Obama. They're not like the Republicans are not really trying hard to go against Obama and some of his bills. And these guys
just the talking points.
What do you mean?
Well, they go hard on just the talking points, not
right. But the bills that are being passed, they're not really touching. In fact, there was a senator who's trying to remove Mitch McConnell as the speaker, the House Speaker or whatever, because he's like, oh, he's not doing his job. Well, no shit. And the next speaker you bring in, who's a Republican, is going to do the exact same thing as Mitch McConnell. Because if he doesn't, he's not going to be around much longer. They'll some way. I'm not saying they're going to kill him, but I'm saying they're going to push him out. They'll make a scandal of him. The powers that be want you to do what we say, or you're not going to be around. And people know this.
Yeah.
It's the corporates.
Listen, they both bailed out Goldman Sachs.
Yeah.
They both bailed out the big banking company.
Yeah.
Obamacare is nothing but a Republican health care. It was Dan Quayle's.
And how many people have you heard?
Mitt Romney's.
How many people have you heard that are like, oh, Obama's going to, ruin our health care and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not.
Listen, they've raised their rates regardless. It's just a way for them to make more money.
Right. This is not a left or right thing at all.
And they both done that,
For decades. For decades they've been doing this.
It's crazy on social media, like the stuff that is posted on how people think one of these candidates are gonna make a change. And the talking points are ridiculous.
Yep. I think that Bernie Sanders, let's talk about Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump. Let's start with Trump. So, Trump's not a politician, he's a businessman. So he's this change just as much as because Obama was black, a lot of people wanted this new change, right? So, well, we got a businessman now, so we want him. We want him. We don't really know his political agendas. What we can look at through history is that the probability the leans towards he's going to do exactly what the major corporations tell him to do. Because if they start funding him money, just as they fund every other freaking candidate, if he doesn't do what they say, they're going to make sure he doesn't become president.
Oh, absolutely.
So, but it's this false belief, like just like Obama. So you got the white Obama now, pretty much. Donald Trump's coming in. He's completely different. He's going to bring real change. He's going to make a giant wall down, on the U.S.-Mexican border, and he's going to turn everything around. He knows how to run businesses, so he knows how to run a country. This is all a facade. It's not real. He's going to talk all he wants with these great talking points that are going to focus on a specific group, hardcore conservatives, or constitutionalists.
Yeah, he talks about what some people feel to be real issues, but would you consider him even a good businessman?
Well, not really. He's been bankrupt before.
Yeah, like he had failed casinos.
Right. And I mean, like
didn't he have government bailout?
I don't know if he got. I know he got
bankruptcy.
He had to declare bankruptcy, but he's backed Hillary Clinton, so he's running on a lot of platforms that Republicans would enjoy, but he's backed Hillary Clinton before, and it's like, you can't tell me, especially if you're like an older human being on this continent, that you're really gonna fall for this again and again and again.
He talks so irresponsibly too.
Right. Well, he wants to be that guy who like is the bully. He's the bully.
He plays off a lot of nutbags.
Yeah.
He really does. And then you got Bernie Sanders, your ultimate socialist.
Yeah.
Where people really think this guy's going to come in and make government work for people.
It can never happen.
No.
You can't do that. He brings up countries like Sweden and Norway, saying like, well, they have their education, is socialism, I guess. But what a good economist, Peter Schiff, pointed out was that they made all their money through capitalism. They created a socialist government, and then they now realize that they have to go back to capitalism and like democracy, because the socialism aspect isn't working. So they got to go back to capital. Socialism isn't like a form of government. It's more of like an economy.
In a way,
like education, commerce, transportation, all these things.
I guess socialism can it be like say a non-profit capitalism?
Somebody profits. Can't tell me.
Well, yeah. People make livings, but nobody.
Right. Well, the government will hand out a living wage.
Yeah.
Each month you'll get a X amount of dollars, or whatever currency, you reside in. They'll actually give you money each month, in like an ultimate socialist.
Yeah.
Form of government,
and that's where a lot of people who sit there, when you get into debates with a Democrat or liberal, they're like, I don't mind paying taxes and paying for things, because your average person, will be willing to pay for education,
right,
or stuff like that. So that's why they'll believe in socialism, but
don't they miss the morality of it? Like, theft is bad, and when you take somebody else's stuff, it's wrong. So maybe we don't.
You can't have socialism enforced by force. Like, that's just wrong right there.
Right. It's
that's
immoral.
What it comes down to, yeah.
It's immoral. It goes completely against the non-aggression principle, something that we learn when we're in like third grade. I don't know.
It's crazy. It's election year. Well, we're heading towards that. So we're going to hear more and more how people are going to go out and vote and think they're going to make a change. and
It's
you're gonna hear more and more stupid talking points. So there's probably gonna be more and more shit happening in the world that's not gonna be covered by the mainstream media that's ran by
Oh, tell me
six
how you were telling me.
corporations.
Tell me how you were talking about like Fox News. How they say, "Oh, the mainstream media. You can't trust the mainstream media people," and you're like, "You are the mainstream media, man."
They always say that, don't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
Like every time, don't listen to mainstream media. Don't listen to the mainstream media.
Yep.
And I'm like, you are the number one watched and read media in the world.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
At night, I hear it all the time on like,
Don't trust you.
yeah, that's pretty much what they're saying.
Yeah.
Don't trust us. Don't trust us.
I don't trust any of you. MSNBC.
Yeah, no.
None of you.
But Fox News is the biggest proponent of being like, don't trust mainstream media. And I'm like, you guys are the most listened to, most watched. And you're saying that means you are the mainstream. So don't go telling me don't trust mainstream media, and then that's exactly what you are. And it's like an oxymoron, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Shocker, mainstream media not making sense.
The real news. We report the real news.
Yeah. Cecil the lion.
Yeah.
really, really dead. That's fucked up.
Oh, the outrage.
I don't know. I don't know what else really happened this past week.
Other than the normal
Bullshit.
shit that's not
Yeah.
reported.
Other than the normal, like, oh, Donald Trump said this, and Bernie Sanders said this, and Rand Paul is falling further behind, and Jeb Bush and Hillary Clinton, we really want them to be the two people competing against each other for presidency.
Rand Paul is not a libertarian.
Not at all. Not at all.
He's not.
And we need to get that straight. If he's libertarian, that means that Glenn Beck is libertarian, and both of these guys. In fact, Rand Paul said he doesn't have any problem with drones being used on U.S. soil. To go after suspects, people who aren't even proven guilty. They're just suspects. And he was on air, on TV, saying this. That's not a libertarian standpoint, and I have a problem with the Libertarian Party if they were to back somebody like this, because you can't have liberty and government at the same time. You can't have freedom and then have people ruling over you at the same time. If somebody rules over you, they are removing some of your freedom because they tell you what to do. So I need to know what the Libertarian Party is really, are they for us or are they just another smoke and mirrors thing going on?
Yeah, I would like to see more talking points as far as because I'm worried about it being hijacked.
I'm worried that it's already been hijacked.
Yeah. So I'd like to see more detachment from the Republican conservative group.
Yeah.
Especially with us. We come from New York. So for me, I come closer to the city. So there's a lot of Democrats and liberals. So for me to try to convince them, what the Libertarian Party is, it's totally against, the Democrats and liberals, that they're like, yo, it's conservative Republican group. I'm like, no, it isn't.
No, it's not.
And it's like, well, then when you have guys like Glenn Beck or,
Right. And the problem is going to be is as this Libertarian Party continues to grow, and it is growing, you're going to have people call themselves libertarians who relate to people like Glenn Beck. And it's going to get larger and larger. So we, as true libertarians, voluntarists, anarchists, because they all go hand in hand, kind of have to nip that in the butt before it gets so large that just as like the word anarchist or anarchy got hijacked, you know what I mean? Like now, it means destruction and chaos, when in reality the original root means without rulers. Libertarians could be hijacked and be the next fucking rhino conservative.
Yeah, I mean, especially like we just said, you're about to get into election, years with the president coming up. So you're going to see the Republican conservatives trying to go out and get votes. So you're going to see them trying to rob, the libertarian votes, some libertarian people who
Man, it's so hard though. It's so hard for a libertarian to be like, I'm not voting for any of you, any of you guys, because you all do the same thing. It's hard for them to do that. So chances are, like you said, they might just go conservative, which is not what we want. If the Libertarian Party is going to grow, we need them to start voting for either true libertarians, not like Rand Paul, or protest voting by writing a certain person in. Write Ron Paul in. Even though he's not running, write him in as a protest vote. Because if enough people write a protest vote and it starts becoming the majority, because there's plenty of human beings here that are sick of this government. Plenty of us. So if enough people write out a protest vote, they can't continue this perpetuation of this form of government.
And here's the thing, like, I think a lot of people really believe that the Republican conservative politician is going to have small government. So, like, well, that's better than big government, so maybe, that'll work towards it.
That's like saying...
But that's not true. That they... tell me when any of them has ever done that.
Right. Yeah, give me an example.
Yeah, well, when have they,
But not only that, dude, this is like saying, well, it's better to have a little bit of cancer than a lot of cancer. Well, no, it's better to have no cancer.
Yeah.
So why are you...
And
on top of that, this whole Constitution thing, oh, well, we need to go back to the Constitution. It'll limit the government. That's a failed document, number one. Number two, I never signed that document. Number three, anybody who did sign that document is already dead. So that doesn't apply to anybody. So this small government that the Constitution is supposed to create, it didn't work.
No, and listen, I'm with you on that.
We have the largest government.
Constitution, but even if there was some candidate in either party that said, "Hey, I'm going to make government strictly by the Constitution," they won't do that.
They're lying. They're lying.
They won't do that. I'd be like, all right, well, we could do that to slowly remove government.
Yeah, sure, but
that will make small government.
But you already know that they're lying.
You're lying.
They can't do that. And the moment they try to do that, then they'll be JFK'd.
Yeah.
Then they'll be taken off. Because...
Listen, the only person that would do that maybe is if a true libertarian's running under a third party, a libertarian. Then you could vote for them. He or she happens to win, then I believe they might make that change.
Maybe
but
Adam...
in the two-party system, no way. No way.
Maybe Adam Kokesh in 2020?
If he's still running. I wonder if he's going to.
Yeah, I don't know.
He might have backed out. I hope not.
I don't know. I'll still write him in. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
I'll write him in or Ron Paul in.
You're going to go out and vote?
I'm not voting. I don't vote.
I would vote if Ron Paul made it.
Yeah, well, of course, the media wouldn't give him any time on stage.
They wouldn't even let him really debate during the primaries.
Right. They were using things like, "Oh, that crazy Uncle Ron." What are you, fucking 12?
And there's Rand Paul shaking hands with them.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey, like my smile, my nice perm I have on top of my head. Oh, man. I'm a libertarian, too, Here, shake my hand.
Oh, you're not a libertarian, conservative? I'm a conservative, too.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a Tea Partier? Yeah, I'm a Tea Partier, too.
Oh, you're a liberal? Oh, all right, I'm a liberal, too. I'm a chameleon. I'm a chameleon, man. Whatever you want me to be.
They all do that.
Yep. It's,
what state are we in? What county? All right, this is what I got to say to these people?
Yep.
All right.
It's unbelievable.
All right,
and the people fall for this, man. Every time. It's like without fail. People are like, we're going to have some change this time. And it's not. It's not going to change because it's the same song and dance. It's the same form of government. It's the same companies that are backing. See, the president can interchange. The companies stay the same. So Goldman Sachs, they're still around. They're still, 4 years ago and 4 years from now, they're going to be backing two different candidates.
Yeah, I saw somebody post
Doesn't matter.
with the CEOs of Goldman Sachs, and they were like, government should put a cap on their wages on how much they make. And it's like, there's a couple of things I see wrong with that. One, nobody should ever put a cap on, nobody should ever tell anybody how much they can make. Let the market.
Good point, Ed.
you know,
That's good. I
tell
like that.
All right, so that's one. Number two, I'm like, so you want the government? You really believe the government's going to come and tell these people this is all you could make, and they're going to work for you, the people, when it's your government that bailed them out? If it was a true free market, they would have went out of business,
Right.
or you would have had a say in dealing with them or not. You know,
Right.
I'm like, so what makes you think the government's going to do anything for you?
We would have been
For
able.
anything.
We would have been able to pull our funds. You know, instead of having our tax dollars being spent on the bailout, we would have said, you know what, we're not dealing with this. A lot of people would have been hurt, yeah, but then again, a lot of smaller businesses would have come up to take the place of these giant corporations, probably a lot cheaper as well, allowing the people who lost money to possibly regain their money by investing into these smaller companies. It's all a fucking sham, dude. And people really need to start waking up because this is getting ridiculous. We're 230 plus years into this fucking experiment, this of land of the free, home of the brave, or whatever. Bullshit.
People are waking up. At least I think they are.
They are slowly, man, but I'm an impatient motherfucker.
It's not a matter of just waking up. It's once you wake up, you gotta
Start doing something.
Well, you gotta learn to let it all go. And realize around you is it's bullshit.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. A lot of people
And
don't want to do that.
They can't do that.
In
Some people
fact,
can't.
I've seen some people tell me, yeah, I know it's fucked up, but I'm just gonna go back to my, my ways of just not
Yeah.
thinking about it because there's nothing we can do about it, and that mindset to me is mind-boggling because it's like when people say, well, what can we do about it? I had a guy at my job. He's like, well, you can't do anything about it. They're the government. Well, what does that even mean? I'm just one person. So if I try to do something, you try to do something, you try to do something, you try to do something, and the entire planet tries to do something, we can have that change that we want.
Isn't that what it's about?
Right.
You just want to go about the way it is the way it is, and you're not going to improve on
Yeah,
life,
no,
not improve on the world.
Don't try to strive for anything
Yeah.
better than what we have. Just accept things the way they are. Accept, your place on this planet, and we're going to leave it at that. And it's like that's such backwards thinking. Like you don't live for anything. You just exist. You just go to work to make somebody else more rich. You come home, and that's it.
You know what's funny? I try to avoid talking politics to the average person like that, But no matter what, they still talk about it. So you still complain, but then if I debate you on it, and you're like, yeah, no, you're right, and I'm like,
They
yeah,
don't-
the
they don't
hardest thing
disagree
is
with you.
for you to let go, and like you just said, well, I can't.
Yeah.
All right, then do me a favor, stop complaining.
Right.
Shut the fuck up.
Right. You got a problem with your
You know?
taxes, but you're unwilling, to go do anything because you're just afraid. You think that you're not in control of this, but as soon as you and the next person and the next person, and then we all start thinking like that, then nothing can be done. But if we all started thinking that we can make changes and that we will make changes, and somebody comes up to you and says, here's how you do it, go to your local town with your entire town, the entire population of whatever town you live in, and you say, we want to do this, and we're not taking no for an answer. So if everyone said, we're done paying our taxes to police and we want to do it voluntarily, we're going to pay for these services. They cannot round up a population of 20,000 people, in a specific town. The amount of police, they don't have enough people. They don't have enough police forces, and we're not trying to do anything wrong. So if an entire community comes up and says, we want to voluntarily pay for this service, and we're not taking no for an answer, what are they going to do? Nothing.
No.
They're going to say, all right, well, I guess we have to vote on it. The entire community will vote on it. And guess what? Now you're paying for a service voluntarily. But people don't think like that. They think that this is the way it's always been. We can't change it unless the powers that be change it for us. It's that loss of self-responsibility, that loss of self. That's what it is. You're not.
Oh yeah.
You want the government to do everything for you. That's the bottom line.
guide the way,
Right.
the whole nine.
Right. Tell me what to do, oh great one. Tell me what to do. Let me kiss your feet. Shocking. 40 minutes, man. We're in 40 minutes. We got to wrap this up. Anything you want to say about Cecil,
No,
the dentist?
I miss Brian.
Donald. I do too, man. I do too. He's probably nice.
Bailed on us.
Yeah. It's okay. He'll be around next time. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's Ed. Ed, tell everybody good night.
Good night, everybody.
And I'm Sean. And if you guys have any topics that you want discussed, you can email us at thefightforfreedomtoday@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at @TheFFFreedom. On Skype, The Fight for Freedom Today, all one word, all lowercase. And we're on Facebook. And that's about it. I hope you guys have a great night. And bye-bye.